No, I really don't want to do this. I mean, they've heard me talk about it on the channel before. I don't need to recover it. I know that wasn't properly reviewed, but I'll review the DC movies if you don't make me do this. What do you mean I'm on a deadline? April 26th. I've still got like... You know what, you're right. Okay. Iron Man 3. So I'm realizing that on my mission to cover all of the MCU movies, I've taken 6 months entirely too long, and I'm almost out of time before Avengers 4 comes out. So you're going to be getting one of these probably every couple days, because I have to get through these as quickly as I can. Okay, so Iron Man 3, right? Terrible movie. Let's get started. So Iron Man 3 has a lot of good ideas and drops the ball on almost every single one of them. It's like, well, Captain America asked Iron Man what he would be without a suit of armor, so let's do that. What if Iron Man was, forced to deal with some sort of punishment from back when he was still a douchebag? Let's do that. What if Iron Man and Pepper's relationship was strained because of something out of his control? Let's do that. What if Happy was taken out of the equation and Tony was led to make irrational decisions because he was emotionally distraught? Let's do that. You know what that sounds like? Iron Man 2. Very bloated. But the thing is, these all could have worked in the same movie. It just didn't. So Tony is suffering hard from PTSD after the events of the Avengers, and it's driven him to be a bit of a workaholic because he's trying to create the perfect suit to protect him and Pepper. And he kind of becomes a slave to his work, I guess you could say. But the thing about that is, he's getting more and more advanced every time, but the suits aren't keeping up with where his mind is. And that's what leads to one of the most on-running jokes in the movie, is that the Mark 42 suit, the main suit from this movie, doesn't work, and it's so annoying. Then you have this whole subplot of the Mandarin. He's like, oh, I'm a terrorist, and I'm going to kill you all. But not really, because that ends up being Aldrich Killian. Who's Aldrich Killian? I'm glad you asked. They made him up for this movie. But beyond that, he's some guy from AIM. What's AIM? Not what it's supposed to be. But he's some guy from AIM who wanted to make a deal with Tony Stark back in 1999, which is 14 years before this movie takes place. Didn't happen, so he's like... I've been betrayed, or I'm going to be evil. It's like I'm Syndrome or something. And it's just like, no, that's just stupid. But what's AIM got going on? They've got the extremist virus, which turns people into, like, bombs. They just explode and they blow up. They explode into fire and they blow up. You think I'm making that up? I'm not. I promise you, that is the power that they have. They go boom, and that's it. I wish I was making that up. Pay me to make something up better than that, because I'm sure I can if I try hard enough. Also, Rhodey becomes Iron Patriot sometime between 2 and 3. I don't know why, because he stops being Iron Patriot right after the movie's over. So I don't understand the purpose other than an on-running joke of, Iron Patriot's a way better name than War Machine, and Tony's like, no, it's not. I know I'm being really negative about this movie. I just hate it, and I can't take it seriously, so I'm going to make fun of it. If you don't like that, oh well, I'm going to make fun of you too. Have some of that. He also meets a kid later on in the movie because his suit decides to just explode, basically, and he crashes. That kid goes on to be in Jurassic World. I just hate these movies. But things really just stop making sense at a certain point. They capture Pepper and they start making her into an extremist project, and then Tony summons an Iron Legion of suits. There's like 35 suits there, and they all do different things. It's just an absolute waste of budget. And then okay. So you find out that the real Mandarin isn't the real Mandarin. He's some actor named Trevor Slattery, and probably the most hated element in any Marvel movie I've ever seen in my life. And then the real Mandarin, Aldrich Killian, is like, you looking for the Mandarin? I am the Mandarin. And I'm just like, no, you are not the Mandarin. I'm sorry. And then Pepper is like, I have fire. And then she falls into a fire, and Tony's like, no. And then Killian's like, and then she shoots him with a gun and he dies. And then Tony decides, I'm going to blow up all my suits and I'm going to start fresh. I'm not going to be a workaholic anymore. We're coming up on the mark 80-something at Avengers Endgame. 6 years later, 80 suits. Okay. And then they take the arc reactor out of his chest, which I don't get how that works. Oh, they also cure Pepper of being an extremist project, but the arc reactor is really where I'm focused on, okay, because it was, like, in his chest. It wasn't just slapped on. It was in there. Like, the sternum and ribs had been removed. It was a straight shot to his heart. So what did they do? Like, did they create more rib? and they put the sternum back. Is that like robotic now? Is he a cyborg? Is Iron Man a cyborg? Because then he'd really be an Iron Man, but is he a cyborg? So Iron Man 3, I'm pretty sure some of you, at least most of you, have seen it by now. What did you think about it? Whatever it is, whatever you think, comment below and educate me. As always, if you like these videos, you want more, wait until after I wink, then click a video.